What is the key to managing cash flow? I love this because cash flow is queen. If they say cash is king, and cash flow is required every day. So let's talk about a few things. Cash flow is not net worth. Which one is more superior? Which one you need to have your target on? Number two, where do most people lose control in not understanding cash flow? And a lot of that is just the lack of education and really the care of understanding it. It is not difficult. It's just different than the way you've ever paid bills before. And then last, let's talk a little bit about how millionaires manage their money, specifically their cash flow. And I have some extraordinary cash flow forms that when you become a Big Table client, you have access to them, helps you literally have a snapshot day to day of where your cash flow lies in any of your companies. And it's like dashboard right to your phone. So I don't know how you live without it because numbers don't lie, people do. So obviously cash flow is the life and the lifeblood of a business. You got to have monthly cash flow to pay the bills. High income earners collapse without managing cash flow. Even the highest income earners can collapse. And I've seen this in my industry because I have so many speaker author friends where if they don't have a gig to go speak at, they're broke. Like they have to speak to make money, to actually keep their machine alive versus create any automation with teams and systems. So cash flow is, again, queen. Cash is king. So you say, well, I don't understand the difference. Cash flow is something that sustainably comes in week after week after week. And then, again, how you pay bills, so many of you employees, you pay on the 1st and the 15th. It's not how you manage cash flow as an entrepreneur and a wealth builder. You manage it week by week by week. When you have sales, or revenue, when you have the money coming in, what bills in a sequence, in a priority order have to be paid, so you actually manage the highest level of cash flow in your accounts. So we're going to get into that in just a little bit more in a second. So again, your systems are going to prevent surprises, but your liquidity is critical. And most people honestly don't know the liquidity number. What I mean by that is how much of your money, say you had $100,000 in savings or a money market or a CD, how much of that do you need liquid in case everything just stopped? You lost your job, your business collapsed, whatever happened. How much do you need to have in reserves? Now, the old school, folks, Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman would say that you want 3 months reserve. For some people, that's an accurate number. For most business owners, it's not even close to being enough. You're going to need usually double that. And depending on your payroll, depending on your just fixed expenses of the month, you want to reverse engineer it based on what you need to actually pay bills inside the company. And then how you pay yourself is typically through a small W-2, which is not taxed much. And then your personal expenses go out of your personal account and all your business deductions go out of your business account. And for many of our clients, they have 3, 4, 5, 6 companies, sometimes even a dozen. So it depends on your growth and how you want to do it. So why cash flow beats net worth? So net worth is a big number and it could have very, very low cash flow. So I always call them the cash poor millionaires because there's a lot of them. They've invested in real estate that's not cash flowing, their project's not cash flowing, whatever that might be. Storage units got some, issues. So cash flow is what you pay bills with and how you sustain yourself every month. And the assets that you're invested in from the passive income side can survive economic downturns and actually economic roller coasters. Real estate's a good example of that. Typically gas and oil, I survived, the last administration, didn't get a lot of cash flow out of my gas and oil investments because we weren't fracking and we weren't drilling and the pipelines were, not on growth. They would rather import and we would rather export. So now that's starting to turn and we're starting to see more and more cash flow in our investments. And at the end of the day, your net worth, you could be worth $10 million, but if you don't have any cash flow from that $10 million, it's not going to pay your mortgage, it's not going to pay your bills. So cash flow's got to be the prominent force of how you live when you're an entrepreneur and you want the money to come into a company, never your personal or a sole proprietor account, ever. It doesn't benefit you at all. So if you're a sole proprietor, call our office and get incorporated immediately. Let our teams do it. Don't go to Secretary of State, Legal, Zoom, or any of them because you don't have any help. We're going to give you a one-on-one appointment. In fact, let's do this. I'm going to give you a copy of my Millionaire Maker book, version 2. Read up to chapter 3 where you're going to read through a gap analysis. And inside that gap is where are you, what's your baseline, and where do you want to be your freedom day. Now, if you have any debt inside of your structure, then jump ahead to page 194 and do our debt plan. How millionaires actually get out of debt. And we actually don't eliminate, we manage. Because debt is a cost of money. So if the cost of money is at 2 and 3%, you can't even get that these days. You don't blow those up. I have so many clients who want to refi to pull equity out of their properties. The downside of that is they're at a 7 or 8% interest rate. where their original mortgage amount is down in the 2s and 3s. It doesn't make sense. So again, make this be a math equation, not an emotional equation, and you'll understand cash flow much more. So why do people lose control of their cash flow? Is they have no systems. They make emotional decisions because they don't have data. And without data, you will always make emotional decisions. And last, you don't have any reserves because you didn't put enough away. Again, that number that you got to put away, it's going to take you a year or two to really get solidified on what you're going to need in liquidity because you don't know, because you haven't tracked before. And that's what we find with most of our clients. So we'll help you get into the systems and the tracking so you understand how do you manage cash flow, which then also the next integrated layer of that in sequence would be how do you manage your corporate credit and your personal credit, because that is significantly tied to how do you manage your cash flow and keep your finances up. Now, before we go to some final thoughts, I want you to subscribe to the channel. Be here 5 days a week. We're here every day to support you in your journey about money, whether it's business and business growth, whether it's taxes, whether it's investment education, how to understand a team and why you need a team so you can do less, make more by leading your teams, not doing everything. Like, don't do your own taxes. Our tax strategists go to school long enough to probably be a surgeon. You don't do your own surgery. You're not doing your own taxes in our strategy. We're way too advanced in the strategy. The big, beautiful bill that just came out in July is phenomenal, and our teams can help you. Back to cash flow and how do millionaires manage it. We manage it in separate accounts. We have independent companies for independent actions to independent protection, liability, asset protection. And most of all, we have planned inflows and very planned outflows. So it's very strategically done by the basis of deductions, which is part of our tax plan. So for every dollar you make, you're going to have a tax consequence. Is there a plan for it, or are you just benign till the end of the year? You're going to hand your box of stuff or your history to a CPA that's going to be your historian and just record what you did. There's no strategy in that. We want to forecast forward and say, this is how you're going to spend your money. This is how you're going to make it. This is how you're going to spend it, and manage your cash flow. Once you understand it, you will have this skill set for the rest of your life, and I can't wait to help you. If you have any questions, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL. Ask a question, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow.